I'm going to share with you today my favorite bread recipe because people freak out if they think they're going to miss out on their bread by doing a gut program. And even though this bread is going to be gluten-free and keto, which means that it's carb-free, it is still going to be delicious. This is ground hazelnut meal that I get from Hazelnut in Tasmania. Beautiful, finely ground hazelnuts, full of fibre, and it's going to feed the right bacteria to get the most energy out of your body. So hazelnuts are a winner as far as I'm concerned with regards to gut bacteria. The other ingredients include some golden flaxseed meal, so that's mealed up, so it's not the flaxseed whole but actually the meal. I'm using chia seeds. Oh, I love chia seeds. They're so mucilaginous and so good for your gut bacteria. We're feeding your bacteria all the good stuff. I'm also going to include some psyllium husks, which is great for gluten-free bread because it gives it that lightness, but it also brings in an amazing soluble fibre. I'm also using a little bit of coconut flour as well to add to some more protein and to help with binding, and I'll show you the rest. So we've got our hazelnut meal. This is a fresh packet, so it's going to smell great when I open it. Beautiful fresh hazelnut meal from Tasmania. We've got two cups of hazelnut meal in this recipe, so it's going to make a fairly decent sized loaf. Because this is a nice fresh packet, the way that I keep my hazelnut meal is sealed, so I'll get a seal on that, usually a peg or a bulldog clip, and I'll put that into the fridge. Then we've got 3 tablespoons of coconut flour, which I buy from my local health food store that gives it to me either in a container that I bring in or in a paper bag to cut down on containers. Then we've got 1/4 cup of ground flaxseed meal. You can grind this yourself if you've got a good grinder. And I've got 1/4 cup of chia seeds. We love chia seeds. So good to bring that mucilaginous fibre, and it helps provide some bulk and some soothing to the gut lining. And then we've also got some psyllium husks. Psyllium husks actually are hydrophilic, so they will take on moisture and water. So what we do with this recipe is we give it more and more moisture over a little bit of time. And I'll show you how we do that. So it's just 1/4 cup of psyllium husks. Don't want to go any more than that because it'll actually be too fibrous, and whoever's eating it will be able to tell you how that affects them. Then within this, we're also going to put 3 eggs, a pinch of salt. If you want to make it a little bit sweet, you can put in a dash of vanilla and some baking powder. 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Try and get the aluminium free one. Just going to have a little bit of salt. And I'm adding just a dash of vanilla to this, but you can leave the vanilla out if you want to have it more savoury. And you could also add a little bit of pumpkin, or you could also add some grated zucchini, would be really nice. Okay, some fat needs to go into this. We've only got 1/3 cup of melted coconut oil. Wonderful. All right, so we're mixing all that up. But the final ingredient, the most important ingredient, is the milk. And I am using macadamia nut milk, but you could also use coconut milk or almond milk. Would be okay, but let's change it up and use some macadamia milk today. About 1 to 2 cups of milk, and what we do is we mix this in until it's nice and smooth and creamy, and then we'll let it sit for a bit because the psyllium will take up the milk. Okay, that's been sitting with the milk for a little bit and it's dried out a fair bit. So we're going to add a bit more milk and let the psyllium take that up as well. So I really like to push the milk in to get it fluffier and fluffier and fluffier. So we'll be taking it to a more fluffy consistency of bread by adding in more and more milk. And let that psyllium fluff it out, fluff it up. One more batch of macadamia nut milk in there. I've used quite a lot this time, probably more than 2 cups. Just stir that fairly gently to mix it all through. And again, let the psyllium take that up. The mixture itself has become lighter and lighter. Yeah, both in colour and in consistency. Nice. All those beautiful fibres. And it's going to satisfy that need for a little bread hit. Okay, into a lined loaf tray. Press it down and we're going to bake it. Now these are going to produce such a high fibre bread that you want to be careful not to have too much in one day. I'm going to sprinkle that with some sesame seeds. I love sesame seeds, but you could also use poppy seeds, hemp seeds, pepitas. Just make it all the seedy goodness, which is going to bring more plant fibres into your diet. We're aiming for 30 a day, and with a bread like this, we're going to easily achieve that level of plant fibre, along with all the beautiful vegetables, etc., that you're going to eat in a day. Look at that, that's going into the oven just like that. Bread. Oh my goodness. So light. I love the toasted sesame seeds. The consistency is so much like a beautiful rye bread. Lots and lots of fibre. So delicious.